and welcome Echoes to Empyrean Wilds episode 8 already. This is a Cypher system based TTRPG. I am Evie, the Disaster GM. My pronouns are she, they, or any, and I am the game runner for this fine of disastrous group. Let's go ahead and go around and introduce ourselves. I think this is also. Is this our first Pride Month stream? No, this is our second Pride Month stream. Happy Pride Month because we probably forgot to say it last time. And also, it's a day late, but happy Indigenous Peoples Day. Let's,
Yeah.
in
Oh,
that
yeah.
case, also start with Alina.
Okay. Hey, y'all. I am Alina. I will be playing Kale. We're both they, them. And Kale is a empathic explorer who helps their friends and has the soul of a dragon.
Ooh. All right, bouncing it over to Matt, who was not here last time.
Hello, I'm Matt, he, him. I was missing last time, but Fang is gonna come back with a vengeance. He was buried in books, and he's excited to be back, as am I. Thank you so much. Oh, treat time! Let's go!
Treats for doggo.
Oh yeah, treats.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh.
There's the boy.
Oh, he's so good.
He is the best of boys.
Sorry, a biscuit for Mr. Twist was redeemed in chat, so I had to make sure that he came on screen for his loving admirers. But briefly seen on screen was Oliver Twist, my baby boy.
He's so good.
But wonderful. Yes, welcome back, Matt. We are glad to have you.
Thank you.
Let's jump it over to Amanda. Hi, puppies.
Hello everyone. My name is Amanda, aka Panda Cabra, and I will be playing Baron Leg. All of us using she/her. I almost said all three because I'm used to playing two characters in the other game. I am a weird adept who dances with dark matter and siphons power.
And last but not least, Joel.
Hello, I'm Joel. I use any pronouns. I'll be playing Bao Mistforge, who is an appealing speaker who rises from the depths and chapter spirits.
Yeah.
Whatever that means.
We'll find out, I am sure. This game runs every other Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific. We do a dual stream on both Twitch at Altered Echo Archives and on Moonbeam Stream in the Monty Cook Games The Anywhere Door realm. So hopefully you can see us in both locations. It will then be later uploaded to our Empyrean Wilds YouTube playlist, which has all prior episodes if you would like to catch up. We are also, if you can notice the little QR code down in the corner of the screen, raising money for the Trans Women of Color Collective, TWCC. It would help if I was on the correct screen, TWCC, there we go. The Trans Women of Color Collective has a mission to uplift the narratives, leadership, and lived experiences of trans and gender nonconforming people of color, building towards the collective liberation of all oppressed people. Hello, Rev. If you can donate, that is appreciated. All donations are sent directly to TWOCC AEA, and its affiliates receive no portion of those funds. With all of that out of the way, let's go ahead and roll into today's session. Last time, the group, after having lost one of their own, and one of them kind of tearing apart the resulting circle of wilderness that had just dumped itself in the middle of the city, they decided to try to find out more. They pressed the "Would you like to know more" button. After a little bit of getting lost in the city,
We got where we needed to go.
They found a bookshop that they wanted to briefly treat like a library, and threatened the shopkeeper a little bit. But at least one book was purchased from there. Two books, technically, were purchased from there, but one a little bit more memorable being a smut book that was very, very poorly written, circa like fanfiction.net before the original purchase. That level of really crappy
Amazing.
writing. Um,
Very good.
Worth every clip.
yeah, it was horrible. But it was acquired. Either way, they did eventually find their way to the actual library of the main city of Polyerna and did some research, finding out about some of the agricultural practices and general, not quite religious observations across Polyerna itself, as well as some of the very, very old history behind at least 3 deities that had been recognized in Polyerna way at the beginning of the era that they are currently in. Questions were answered, some questions were brought up with this research, and a couple of potential contacts, a couple of leads were provided in the way of some sort of lord or merchant that is well off within Polyerna, much further into the city-state itself, and someone known as the Grandmother. Research having been done, and a couple of books potentially snagged by at least one character on their way out, they did eventually make their way back to the boat with their knowledge, a couple of books in tow, and a random seed held within a pouch off to the side. As you guys settle back to the boat, what would you say you like to do? Did you need to do anything before you slept, or are you going to just kind of pass out after a long day?
Actually, because I don't have it marked as having been used, I'm going to, before going to sleep, I'm going to look through Ace's eyes.
Okay.
Ooh.
For the first time having to do this, I would like you to roll a d20. Two? All right. You do successfully still see through Ace's eyes. Everything around you kind of fades and the sounds warp, similar to when you are underwater, and this is a familiar experience to you. Before you see around the person that you're looking through, it's hard to tell where they are. You can see a waterline. You're not sure if it is a beach coast or a riverbed. And there's greenery, but there's not really landmarks nearby. Much like what time it is for you, it's just a bit after dark for Ace, and they seem to be sitting on something.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Cool. Cool. He does. He seems. Oh, sorry. Go on.
And then looking down, it takes a moment of like trying to absorb all of this. Then looking down, you see those same long nails start to grow from Ace's hands, and with one, they draw in the sand. Hello, little one.
Cool. Yeah, no, that's cool. Okay. Okay. Um. Yep. I think Belle is just gonna see as much as she can
Mm-hmm.
before it naturally fades away, and then
Okay.
she's going to stay up for about another hour writing down information. Oh no, she doesn't write. She will just lay down and think about things.
If you maintain the connection after the initial greeting, uh, Ace's foot reaches over, swipes the message, and then writes a question. Are you taking care of yourself? And have you found any clues to the barrier?
To the what?
The barrier.
Uh huh.
Mhm.
Uh
Now, you know you have no way to communicate to
yeah,
Ace while looking through their eyes.
yeah,
And you have been vaguely aware before, at least once, when Ace looked through your eyes.
yeah. Um. Okay. Uh. Okay. I can't. I'm just. Yeah. I
No.
doesn't. I can't. This doesn't
Yeah.
change anything
Yeah.
for what I can do. So.
So it's a couple of minutes that you're able to look through Ace's eyes.
Mhm.
And it seems that they give you a minute or so to absorb the question before wiping it out. Follow the song, as I
Hmm.
do too, but be careful of reflections.
Oh, crossover.
It's a crossover episode.
And that
Oh,
seems to be the last message provided.
okay. I'm gonna disconnect.
Yeah.
I'm gonna lay down in my whatever the fuck I sleep in,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm going to focus really hard on figuring out if he's watching me back to see if I get like my thought process is that he may be trying to do like a weird communication thing going on.
Okay. Uh,
Uh,
give me an
yeah.
intellect check.
Okay. 15.
15. It's hard to say.
Mhm.
Um, it's entirely possible, but you know that sensing it is very, very difficult. But it is entirely possible since Ace was attempting to communicate with you.
Okay. In that case, since I know about how long it usually takes me
Mm-hmm.
to see through their eyes, I'm gonna lay down and I'm just gonna do that and just flip them off uh, for the duration of like whatever long it takes.
Okay, perfect. I love it. Yeah. Without knowing if Ace is really looking through your eyes or not,
Hmm.
uh, you don't know if flipping Ace the bird through your very special connection was successful or not,
Hmm.
but you do manage to lay there for a good 5 to 10 minutes, just
Yep.
like holding your hand that has like the actual fingers in front of you and like flipping essentially yourself and
Yeah.
the
And
ceiling off.
yeah, I think it's extra funny because I'm in the dark. I don't
Mm-hmm.
have a light on at this
Yeah.
point, so I'm just in the dark, laying on, laying like on my back, just.
You have curtains to prevent light from coming in the windows, but because you do have the captain's quarters, that does have windows that lead to the outside.
Yeah,
So there would be some starlight, so it's not like you are in
that makes
pitch
sense. Yeah,
black darkness, but it's fairly dark in there.
cool.
So yeah,
In that case,
I flip off the darkness. Okay, good.
yeah, that's what I'm doing. And
Okay.
then
Amazing. Good choices.
once that time frame ends, I'll just
Okay.
ponder on what I learned and then go to sleep.
I am typing out the messages to you so that you do not forget. Um, Anyone else?
Oh,
I might have a little something for when Fang sleeps, if that's all right.
Okay.
Ooh.
What does that mean?
So, I was thinking, amidst the sleep, there would be a little dream. Like Fang has, I would say, quite a few nightmares here and there, but
Mm-hmm.
um, in one moment, amidst his sleep, there's a dream where he's thinking of books. He's flipping through this one book that has many pictures. A book that has to do with a person who, at the rise of the full moon, becomes bestial, snarling, growling. And as he's flipping through this, he reaches page 12, and it seems like that beast leaps out at him. And Fang initially is scared, and then he realizes, wait a second, this beast is trying to help me. And then he's elsewhere. He feels like he's in a swamp, in a marsh. He feels like he's somewhere familiar. And he notices that there are figures in the distance. He knows that there's these seemingly like eldritch religious figures that are circling him, advancing on him. There are 8 of them. And he feels that fear again, but he realizes that this time it's real. This time it's unlucky. And that is how I'm going to narrate my lucky and unlucky numbers, which I got
Okay.
from Where Geek Comics of 12
Okay.
for lucky, and then 8 for Rev Eldridge.
Okay.
Unlucky number 8.
Unlucky number
Okay.
8. Yeah.
Thank you very much, chat, for
Ooh.
assisting with the lucky and
Yes.
unlucky numbers.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Okay, cool. And this is probably not the first time you've had a dream similar to this. Hard to say what all of it means, but it's not the first time. Beyond that, your sleep does seem to go uninterrupted. You guys have a fairly calm and peaceful rest, despite the chaos of the day. Even nightmares just kind of don't fully take hold. Like, you might experience them, but it's not with the same gut-wrenching feeling that they have had before. Kale?
I was going to say, Kale probably struggled to get to sleep at first, even though they were exhausted after their rampage in the swamp. But there's a lot of emotions roiling and instincts roiling around inside them. And so probably after midnight, they're going to get up out of their bunk and sneak down the hall to Sybil's room and steal something that smells like Sybil.
Okay.
Maybe a journal or a pen, and then bring it back to their bunk and just smell it until
I
they
had
fall asleep.
actually discussed with Maggie on what all Sybil would have left behind. So
Okay.
there are some journals. There's also, obviously, a couple of changes of clothing. There's not a lot because Sybil was mostly books and paper and then whatever else was needed. But there would be a couple of journals because Sybil had a lot, and some changes of clothing that would very easily be able to hold her scent.
Okay. Yeah, so nothing too creepy, but like a sweater. You know, she wears all those cardigans. I'll bring a sweater into Kale's bunk and then just kind of tuck it under the pillow,
Okay.
and then they'll sleep, fall into that like deep exhausted sleep.
Yeah. And that's kind of what it is. Well, the dreams might not necessarily be pleasant after the day that you had and how much power and exhaustion that had hit all of you, it's just too hard to really feel deep effects from a nightmare. Joel, you retain the impaired condition until probably around midday, because that's around when the fight had happened. So just keep that in mind. But after some rest, some relaxation, just not really doing active things that require intense concentration, be that sleeping or attempting to sleep or nesting with the left behind souvenirs of old friends. You guys wake to a overcast but no longer raining day. It's maybe 9 or 10 a.m. because you guys got back a little late and some of you had a little difficulty trying to get to sleep, but you can have taken up to and including a 10-hour rest if you so choose.
Nice. I'm going to make a 10-hour roll.
It was
I am
really funny.
low on some stuff.
I only did one roll and it got me back to full.
Nice.
You are not really a frontline fighter, so
I spent a lot of my points.
yeah.
So I don't fight.
Yeah.
But I do spend them. So.
Yeah. All right. So, has everybody gotten their points back as they need? Okay. So it is the next day. You guys have rested because you are at dock. It's not necessarily that you need to have a full crew keeping an eye and keeping the ship going overnight. So your general crew and Corey would have been able to take, guard watches, but not having to really man it. So you would probably wake to a cold breakfast, and what would you like to do?
I am going to begin instructing my my actual second in command, my first mate, on what his job is going to be while we are out, which is essentially he's going to continue the work that we do, just without us on board.
Okay.
And that's going to be most of my morning.
Yeah. You do have a fairly dependable crew, since for the most part your party has only been helpful in a cursory fashion.
Thank heavens.
Yeah. So, generally speaking, other than yourself, most of the crew that is on board is able to manage the boat without you.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Who would you say is this first mate? We didn't really discuss your crew ahead of time.
I imagine this rough and tumble butch lesbian.
Okay.
That's about as far as I've gotten.
Okay.
That's your entire crew. This one woman.
Yeah.
Very, very capable.
Yeah.
Bal saw her one day. She may not even be originally from this group. Bal saw her at working at the docks, probably whipping an entire crew of rugged men into shape, and Bal went, "That's the one."
So, knowing butch lesbians the way that I do, I'm gonna say that she's maybe 5'1" or 5'2".
Amazing.
100%.
Yes, correct.
I mean, if you've been to Pride, the vast majority, and the vast majority are unfortunately short. And
unfortunately.
Yeah. And so she's got fairly closely cropped hair just to keep it out of the way, and was probably in the middle of checking through the stock and trying to look at the logs. because you didn't really have a pickup or drop off here where you guys stopped when you found her. She would be like, yeah, yeah, no problem. You're going though? Somewhere?
Yep. Yep. We have oh sorry, this character has an accent. Yep, we've got to talk to some old geezer and then we're going to the Death Forest on the other side of the hills probably.
Ew.
Okay. I'm going to ignore most of that.
Fair, yeah.
Where should we meet you, or do we just go back to Icenbridge and work the river?
Um hmm. Yeah, honestly just walk the coast, really.
Okay.
If you'd like, you could treat this dock as sort of like a base of operations until we come back and just go up and down. We'll wait for you.
Do you know how long it'll be before you decide to come back?
I haven't the foggiest, no.
All right. At what point should we consider you guys dead? And at that point, is the boat mine?
Probably, I'd say like maybe like give it like 2 years. And at that point, you know what? Sure.
Okay, 2 years, sure.
Aye.
2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fine. Don't die.
I'll try.
Wanders off and starts randomly yelling at someone to start putting together a better inventory list because his writing looks like he wrote it with his stick. Then
Oh, what a
seems,
charming woman.
yeah, then seems to basically be in the works to getting everything ready to go again because apparently you're leaving, which means that she's got to get everybody on some sort of job to get them paid.
I also trust her with the ship's like money.
General funds, okay.
One question though, before I hard commit to something. How heavy is this stone?
The calling stone?
Communication stone? Yeah.
You guys took the smaller one with you. The larger one is left in Icenbridge, so you kept the one that's meant to travel. So
Yeah.
it's maybe 5 or 6 pounds and about that big.
Oh, okay. I'm going to carry that out of the cabin,
Okay.
and I'm going to walk up to Fang.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go. You said you wanted to be like my secretary, yeah? Here you go. And
Yes.
I'm just gonna give him the
calling
phone,
stone?
essentially.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Because I refuse to carry this thing.
Okay.
I will guard this with my life, Captain.
Right. Okay. Well, you don't have to do that.
Well,
Oh,
this is
cool.
my job. I
Right.
have to
but-
take the calls.
Right, but okay. Make sure, Fang, that you gather anything that you don't want to leave behind, because the ship is sailing off without us.
Oh, okay. And Fong is gonna dash down to his room, and then he's gonna come back with, he's got his like shorter rod that you've seen him use, but he comes back with the slightly longer rod, and he's like, okay, I'm good. That's all I have.
So you guys probably want to keep note of what you have decided to bring with you. If you decide to bring everything that you've got with you, then that is fine. Just let me know if you're
Down.
leaving anything behind on the ship, essentially.
I think Bell. Oh, sorry. Go on.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying that Belle, apart from the communication stone, Belle doesn't really have anything else that she can't carry on her person. So I'm not leaving anything behind.
Kale, however, as the group brain cell, will have gotten up whenever they woke up this morning, made themselves a very strong cup of tea, and then is sitting with some of the paper and making a list of what you would need for a 2-week expedition into unknown territory, because
Okay.
they've done this before. They actually know what to pack for a journey.
You-
So they've started noting down, like, here's what we need for the packs. We're going to need some ropes. We're going to need, supplies, fresh water, this and that.
Okay. So while you're doing that, do you plan to leave anything behind?
Not particularly, because I have a hidden closet. So I
Okay.
will pack everything into Pico and then just carry my teapot on my belt.
Okay.
And then I'll have like a traveling cloak and no pack this time because I don't need it anymore.
And Varen?
So Varen actually, upon hearing that we're leaving and potentially going to the Dark Forest, spent the morning crafting a little wicker person
Okay.
that she wants to leave behind on the boat. And so she approaches the second in command and says, listen, like, I know that we're going to be away for a while, but if there's any kind of like weird, hinky sort of like things that start happening, I want you to take this and I want you to burn it. Like, that should help cleanse some of the hinky stuff away.
So again, short, butch lesbian.
Mhm.
She looks up at you, and there's that initial kind of like jump because you are described as weird and just like popped up right next to her.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay. Did Ball approve this?
Well, I don't think Ball really like knows, but I find that it helps. It helps, especially like if you end up sailing and you see some like weird like I don't know, like kind of like dark inky stuff, sort of like this, and then like she kind of flashes her stuff. Is like, so if you see anything like this or anything kind of supernatural, so burn one of these and that'll help kind of get rid of it.
Okay, yeah, sure. Anything to keep the weird shit away. All right.
Yeah, you can even do it like a little, send it on a little boat and burn it, so the boat didn't burn down, just kind of set on the water and let it go.
Yeah.
A little boat.
Yeah. Okay. Like, okay. Gives you another weird look up and down, and then looks at the little weird wicker shape, or like human shaped wicker person, like a little doll. Shivers a little bit, and then just kind of stuffs it in a side pocket. Go ahead and give me a general intellect check for crafting it.
Oh, that was only a 3.
Those are eased for you, right?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, it's not the best that have been made. Like, that they are made and available at a variety of festivals. But yeah, it's not the best, but it will function, and it has the approximate shape of a person. And it'll do well enough. It'll do well enough.
Yeah, it's kind of like a stick, more like a stick figure, not so much like an actual doll at this point. But it works.
Yeah. You can tell that it's technically supposed to be a person instead of a 5-pointed star.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So final question before you guys exit the ship to potentially gear up: is anyone taking Sybil's stuff? Because you do also have the faceted ball that can contain things.
Yeah, Kale will probably pack up her stuff on the off chance that we either find out where she went, in which case we're going there immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Like if we find any more. Kale's idea is if we are finding like another one of those seeds, and then we'll have to figure out how to tune it to wherever she went, and we can go and get her back. It's a long plan. It's a long shot. It's probably not happening, but
Okay.
they are foresighted enough to plan for that eventuality. They'll also bring the little seed that we have wrapped up. They'll stick it in a pouch and probably attach that to their belt as well. But they will not put it in the hidden closet because that seems like too much magic in one spot.
Okay, so among Sybil's stuff are the various journals that she would have left behind, some changes of clothing, and what seems to be a chemistry set that she uses to make potions. And then probably like a couple of little knickknacks here and there. Are you taking the changes of clothing and knickknacks and chemistry set, or just the journals?
The journals and some clothing is probably the most important stuff for Sybil. If there's an easy way to pack up the chemistry set and it won't get broken if we shove it into one of the multifaceted balls drawers, then I'll bring it. But otherwise, it's staying on the ship because it's probably very breakable.
Yeah, the storage ball, the like faceted ball, is like it's a large basketball-ish sized shape, but each of those 36 panels is a hammer space. So
Yeah.
so long as you can safely apply the hammer space, then the
Cool.
glass would be, safe within.
Yeah, especially if I'm wrapping it in clothes.
Okay.
So several of the drawers have the alchemy set
Okay, cool.
with clothing wrapped around them.
Alrighty. So you do have that. I don't think there was anything else that Maggie mentioned Sybil leaving behind. So Sybil is carrying the barrier dart on her. So that was not left for you guys. But yes, so with stuff packed away, it is probably almost midday at this point of you guys getting everything set and creating lists and grabbing mostly Sybil's and Kale's stuff, because the chemistry set that's in that corner of the galley kitchen is probably the most complex thing to have to break down and bring with you. But you're ready. You've got your list of things that you might need. I don't know how many clips you are bringing with you, Belle. And I don't know how many Kale carries on them.
I found 30 last game. Let's say I have 40.
Okay.
It's not a lot of clips.
I have my personal
Yeah.
amount of money,
Okay.
just what I have on my person.
Okay.
So Kale will approach Ball at this point and be like, Ball, it seems to me that if we're going out into these rather dangerous woods for quite some time, and I imagine seeing how everyone has been packing, that we do need some supplies if we're going to be gone for this time. The list here, and hand it over. It's got like a notation of roughly what things will cost. We'll probably have to pick up these things before we think of leaving, but where should we go first?
To the store, I imagine.
Well, yes. But we should discuss as a group where we want to travel to first once we're supplied and ready to go.
Oh, sorry, that was me being dumb.
Oh my.
I thought you were like, what? Like, where in the city are we going? And
Yeah.
Where are we going once we get our supplies?
Yeah. What's the
Therein?
plan? Yeah.
Fang,
Yes.
Yes?
would you join us on deck for a moment?
Yeah, of course.
Yep.
Are you nearly packed?
I'm packed.
Varen didn't have a lot of things to begin with, so she's packed.
Right.
Also, Kale, can I get a DC 6 intellect check from you?
I'm going to spend some effort on that. I'll spend 2. Do I have anything that might ease it?
You have a free acid from me with your daily acid.
Well, that's true. That's true.
You have that. Basically, you are the only person that might recognize something, which is why I'm asking you specifically.
Yes. Well, I've spent my effort on that. I also rolled a 17, so I'm doing very well.
Dang.
Okay.
Whoa.
Wow.
Nice.
So, none of you have been super sure as to where Fong is from. Not a lot of things to give it away. But looking at the longer stick, almost looking like a stave, the markings on it seem very familiar. You've only seen one before, and it looked different. It's missing a part. But you think that you've seen that on some traders that passed through Isenbridge before. You're just not sure where.
Interesting. Do I recognize what kind of wood it's made out of? Interesting.
Like, in fact, it is very difficult to determine what type of wood it's from because it doesn't look like wood that is familiar to you. The grain pattern is different. It's tighter, and there's decorative carvings along it that kind of throw off what the grain pattern might be.
Interesting. Yeah, Kale will, as everyone's gathering, be like, kind of look it up and down and be like, that's very pretty. Is it a walking stick?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I use it to fish sometimes.
Oh. Walking stick and a fishing rod.
Mm-hmm.
Very useful item.
Absolutely. And I'd say you would note a bit of relief in Fang's voice, because all he's carrying would be the longer rod and also the book he had stolen. And so maybe when you were appraising the rod, he was afraid you were looking at the book. And so he would have like moved the book behind and the rod forward, and then, oh, okay, great, you're talking about this.
Awesome. I note that. I don't say anything about it.
All right. But yes, so you were calling them over.
Yes. Right. So I know that our eventual destination is this deathly forest of ghosts. We'll need to find a name for it. However, I have heard that there is someone just slightly to the northeast of the city that I should speak with, called the Grandmother. That's vaguely in the direction that we're going, but maybe a little out of our way. Would everyone be all right if we traveled there?
Is this in the same direction as the dude with the magic artifacts?
It's a little off, but you guys would have to leave Polyarna and go east anyway. This would just kind of take you a little bit more north, because you were told that this basically rich landowner is just very close to one of the mouths of the river, and currently, like, that is definitely more east than north, but it's not true east.
So we kind of jag north and then continue east and south to get to the forest.
Or you could just follow the river.
Yeah.
You see it like a Baron's like tattoo kind of flare for a second when he mentioned the grandmother.
Ooh.
She doesn't know what's happening, but it is happening.
Do you know?
I've no. Oh, go on.
Oh, Fang would have asked, like, do you know the grandmother to Varen?
I might have met the grandmother on my travels before.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm acquainted with the grandmother.
Oh, what's she like?
I liked her personally, but others have considered her to be weird. But I don't know. I like her. I get along with her.
Kale just looks at the whole group and is like, I don't think that will be a problem.
Oh,
Yeah.
it might be a different kind of weird. Is all I'm gonna say.
Great.
I've also got some old geezer to visit. Got a lot of magic artifacts. I think he might be a solid lead in whatever Ace is doing.
Oh,
Oh,
Oh.
by the way, are any of you familiar with a barrier?
Like a wall or
It's probably magical of some sort.
I mean, I've seen a lot of walls.
Right, yeah.
Well-
It's not like a, I guess it wouldn't be a barrier, but the barrier, you know.
do
So,
I can I
that's-
roll for that? I don't know if I would necessarily.
That would be a DC 8, so you'd need some
No,
training
I would
and
not.
some effort.
I do not. I've never
you are-
heard of this.
You are trained in magic, which does drop it down to a 7.
Mhm.
So with effort, you would be able to make it possible, but
This is the
it is
deep lore.
not likely. Yeah, it is.
This is some deep lore that
Yeah.
Baron doesn't know about.
yeah.
Yeah, this is talking to Aslan about the deep lore type of bullshit.
Oh God.
Mm.
Well, where did you hear that term? Was it in the books yesterday?
No. So right before going to bed, I do my fair activity of trying to figure out what the fuck my brother's doing, right?
Oh,
As I do. And so he was being a dickhead, as she is wont to do. And she asked me if I found any clues to the barrier, whatever that means. And so barrier?
now you were saying that Ace was messing around with some sort of ritual, and that was about the time that I felt something deeply wrong with the world, echoing out from roughly where you think Ace was.
Sure.
What magics are they playing with?
Stupid ones, I wager.
It seems like. And who are they working for?
Well, so that's so here's the thing, right? He also hears the song. And in last night he mentioned still following it. Oh, and also something about reflections. Whatever, something about being what is it? Watchful reflections or something like that. He was right on the ground, and I was a little angry because he called me, and I don't like the way he does that. But you know, that's not important. Fucking hate him.
Ace does tend to do that, especially when they're not sure which fluidity you have gone to, but also because they know that it pisses you the fuck off.
Yeah.
Everyone just go ahead and give me a general intellect check to see if you might have any clue as to what the fuck Ace might be talking about.
Me too.
Yeah, go ahead.
11.
9.
10.
Hey, one of us broke 10.
Wow.
I guess 2. There was no.
Wow. Okay. Are any of you trained in even music or anything like that? Can you like play instruments or anything like that? Okay. Yeah, you have no idea what Ace might be talking about. Other than like, I don't know, water reflects and Ball has something to do with water, maybe. That's the best you've got.
I'd say Fang probably thinks of water and then again thinks of home again. And he's like, no, I think the forest, grandmother, all that is good.
Right. Ace does like to try and get under your skin, and perhaps this is all just a misdirection to keep you worried, to keep you worrying.
I don't know. Everything's strange because my thought process is, I've, I've, I've basically linked the song in my head to my dating Ardoha, right? But he hears it too. He's
What does it sound like?
like a song, like a distant melody. Most of the time,
Like a happy song or a sad song or like a
I think Val will just start humming along to it.
Ooh.
Currently,
Ooh.
it is kind of peaceful. You don't have that same anxiety and pressure right now, so it's a nice melody that, Kale, you've heard Bal hum before. They've used it a couple of times, and it was utilized a couple of times in Isenbridge. In fact, I think you guys heard it during that deep dive dream with Sybil.
Yeah.
So you are familiar with it to an extent. Fong and Varen, you don't think you've heard it before? Go ahead and give me an intellect check for history.
It's a very lovely song, whatever it is.
I got a 12,
Mm-hmm.
which is also my lucky number. So the next thing I do is
Oh.
going to be helped.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay. And what did you say that Varen got, Amanda?
3. So I'm just like, oh, that's a very lovely song.
It is a very lovely song. It's somewhat familiar to you, Fong. You think you might have heard something like that long time ago. You're not sure where. Possibly in your childhood, possibly in passing in one of the cities that you've traveled through, but you're not sure where. But yeah, it's a very pleasant song.
Yeah, I think I've heard that before, but I don't remember where. It's been a while.
What? You've heard it before?
Yeah. I'm not sure when or where, but it sounds really familiar.
That's fascinating. As far as I know, you're the only person that's ever heard it, besides me and Ace.
Oh. If I remember anything, I'll let you know. But right now, I don't know. I feel like there's certain moments where, as you're humming it, I'm like, oh, I know where this is going, but then it's like it escapes my grasp.
Right.
It is unusual for someone to have heard it before and not be hearing it. But
Okay. Well, we can put a pin on that.
I imagine you've got everything settled with the ship, Bal? I'm ready to go if we want to go and get supplies and then set out. We wouldn't get far tonight, but we can at least make some distance.
Bal, you're also finally starting to feel the effects of the poison fade away.
Oh.
But do you guys set out? Have you decided to go to the grandmother first? That kind of got interrupted briefly.
Uh, I think so. I think that's kind of
Yeah.
the priority.
Yeah, actually, Kale has the map so that we can mark roughly where we think the grandmother is and roughly where we think your trader is, and then where the Death Forest is,
Yeah.
and
So
kind of make our little route.
I believe that when they mentioned where the grandmother might be, it was where she was last seen.
Yeah, which was to the
Ah.
northeast.
Yes.
Yeah, I was about to say, I was like, that's not
She
where I
moves.
met the grandmother, but I heard that she doesn't stick around in any one place. So
Ah.
Hmm.
Right. Well, this was where she was seen recently, so perhaps she's in the area, and
Perhaps.
knowing that you've seen her before will make it much easier to find her.
And when Varen describes her, she is definitely an older woman that could easily be mistaken for a grandmother or even potentially great grandmother. Has that like darkened, weathered skin that could be anywhere between 50 and 80, with silvery hair that is typically kept pulled back into a messy braided bun. Draped in woven fabrics, which is fairly common to Polyarna, and carries with, like, always seen with a basket of yarns and threads.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Varen, would it be proper to bring her a gift for asking her for information?
I'm sure she wouldn't mind a gift. You know,
Yeah.
she's yeah.
What
I,
sorts
I, I
of
mean, I didn't
things?
have one when I met her the first time, to be fair, but I kind of like wasn't like intending to meet her the first time. So
Right. Well, if you let me know what the sorts of things she likes, I'll add it to the list.
well, she could always use yarn. She's always carrying around a yarn, or maybe even a new basket. But to be fair, I think she might be one of those people that like she has like a favorite basket. It's kind of beat up, you know. So
Right.
I would caution maybe the yarn.
Yarn shouldn't be too difficult to find.
Mhm.
All right. So, setting out to the gloomy day, probably over the next couple of hours, the sun will finally start to come out more. But you are able to, for the most part, find the equipment that you would need for easy travel. Is there anything special beyond like basic traveling equipment that you would be searching for that you want to make sure that you have down?
I think Kale is going to be picking Baron's brain as we're going and picking up like the basics of like packs, water skins,
Mhm.
rope, and be like, so this death forest, is there anything that we need to ward off? I don't know. I don't know what sort of dangers might be there.
And then I think Varen starts picking up they probably sell like little like bundles of like little like either just raw materials for the wicker people. So that way it was like, and I explained, I was like, well, like we have this ritual every year where we try to, we make effigies and we burn them, and we that I find that usually helps with the I don't know what to call it, like corruption, darkness. I don't know exactly what it is, but I find that it's helpful, and so Varen is like also buying these little bundles so she can craft
Great.
wicker people as they need.
Oh.
Nice.
With what time of year it is, there are probably even pre-made wicker dolls that are available, like straw dolls and wicker dolls that are available for purchase. Not a massive amount of them, but probably some. You even oddly find some jewelry that seems to be stylized after that. That are sticks with, instead of the entire person being like braided branches or straw, seems to be like a framework of very, very tiny twigs with woven twine between it. That when you actually turn it around, it seems to have a small, like, little tuft of like vaguely oily fur or cotton. You're not sure what, but it looks very similar to a fire starter, like the little like thing that you would throw to start a fire prior to building it up.
Kale's also making sure that they have a lot of fire starting equipment, like all kinds of flint and steel, matches if we can get some.
Yeah.
Lots of kindling, like lots of little like fuzz bundles for sparking
Okay.
Nice.
flames. Just because, you know, haunted forest.
Yeah.
Fire's good.
Yeah, I mean, I always hear rumors about the forest, about, you know, people going in, maybe not necessarily coming out, or if they do come out, they're changed in some way that's not for the best.
Right. I imagine that's only gotten worse with the return of magic.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
Baron just kind of like doesn't realize that maybe it is magic. You know, all she knows is just the stories that people tell her. So I don't think she's quite made the connection between it being magically induced or not.
Okay. So, as you guys discuss this, pack up, make sure that you've got your variety of items that can go into bags, but as well that you can put into the storage ball. You would eventually manage to make your way out of the winding, patterned cobbles of Polyarna proper. It's not a walled city. Much like Isenbridge, it promotes free travel in and out. And it seems that as you get further from the wharf and the center of the city, the buildings start to spread more until eventually it's hard to see the transition between proper city and farmland, because it starts just spreading out more and more until it goes from basic agricultural farming to possibly larger farms and the like, because that is what Polyarna is known for. You do see the occasional building that would indicate some sort of large trade that is there, but it's well off of the main road that you would be taking. If you are taking the main road, or are you deciding to set off just going in general direction and going off path?
I think Kale with the map and as the explorer is probably got the map and has traced, like, this is how far we can go on the main road to make time, but then we'll have to, you know, go through the woods about here.
Okay. And then also from that, I'm assuming that you guys are deciding to travel on foot rather than buying mounts, which are fairly expensive. Okay.
Which is good.
Okay, so yeah, just walking through the city and like getting out of the primarily settled area of Polyarna will probably take you the majority of the day. Because there's crowds, there's merchants, there's people going in and out of the city with their goods. So you would be able to, with how late you guys set out and after shopping, get out to the outskirts fairly easily. But it would probably be hitting nightfall, and you wouldn't hit the first, like, Wayfarer's Tavern prior to it being true night. Are you camping at the road, or are you already going off of road prior to nightfall?
The entire time, Bal has just been quietly to the back of the group, just lost in thought. So it's literally whatever the other three decide, as far as she's aware.
Yeah. Kale has been a little quieter and gloomier than normal too, but they're putting on a good front especially since they're the one sort of leading this expedition. But they will consult with Baron and just sort of be like, is this a safe enough area to just find a camp in the woods, or should we be trying to find an inn or something for the night? Oh, you're
You're
muted.
muted.
The roads aren't necessarily unsafe, but I would probably be smart just to keep a watch out just in case
Right.
if we do decide to camp out. It's not unusual for people to do that, but
All right. Well, I'll see if I can find us a good spot to stop for the night, and then perhaps we can have a fire.
All right, Explorer, go ahead and give me a basic survival, nature, traveling type check. Do you have anything that would apply to it?
Been a while.
Yeah.
It has been a while.
It has. It's been a very long while because even at that, you explored caves and along the cliff faces, you did not explore random open wilderness.
I'm gonna it's just straight roll. 15. Not terrible.
Ooh, nice.
Quite good, actually. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, with a 15, you would fairly easily be able to find a camping spot that would suit your needs. You are still fairly close to the city, and while most people do either continue to press on towards the city or would continue to press on towards what you would assume to be some sort of wayfarer's stop, not having traveled in this city-state before, you are not sure how far that would be. So you just find a mostly level, dry camping spot, which with the entire day just kind of being humid but still warm because it is still summer, and overcast, that last bit of like sun that you guys got through the second half of the afternoon did help to dry out some of the land enough to where you don't think that it would get too gross
muddy
during sleeping times. But you find a suitable enough spot. You would also be able to probably, with that 15, acquire the necessary things to make a safe enough little fire ring to keep your campfire maintained. 3 of you do eat, so food will be necessary.
Food has to happen.
Yeah.
I imagine this close to the city, we just like bought some like hand rolls or something for dinner and eat them around the fire.
Yeah, you probably
little pies.
Enough stuff to be able to just kind of keep it warm. But yeah, with that, I'm assuming that you guys either bought bedrolls or a tent of some kind or something. And this is the first time I'm having to ask this in either Empyrean campaign. Is there going to be a watch posted? How are you guys going to do your rest?
I have full everything right now, so I don't mind staying up and being sort of the watch person.
Kale will take the deepest part of the night since they have the best night vision.
Okay. And the 10-hour does not require you to sleep throughout all of it. So long as you guys are not interrupted by something happening, you would be able to take the 10-hour without like having to extend that.
Nice.
I think Val will probably barely sleep at all. So she'll probably squeeze in a couple hours of rest and then just be awake for the majority of the night.
Okay. Sounds good. I think with that, we'll go ahead and do our break in that case, because we're getting up on that time, and we will discuss your camping evening and where you are going after when we come back. So thank you to everyone that happens to have tuned in. We will be back in about 5 to 10 minutes. Stay tuned, stretch your legs, get some water, do whatever it is that you need to do to keep yourself healthy and not shrimping. But we'll see you soon. Bye. Hello and welcome back to Empyrean Wilds, Episode 8. I am Evie the Disaster GM here with my oh so wonderful players, and OBS behaved and none of the screens switched, so that's awesome. We are coming back into them having their first camp night away from their ship and a city fairly close to the city itself. It's not too far away, so hopefully still fairly secure. Nevertheless, they have decided to keep a watch. I believe that, Varen, you said that you were going to start the watch?
Yes, I was.
Okay, can I
Yeah,
get
I think it's
a perception / observation as you guys settle into your evening's rest?
Ooh, that is a 17.
ooh.
Okay. You are familiar with Polyarna. You grew up here, not here specifically. It was definitely a different area of Polyarna City State. But you're familiar with it, and you are familiar with the sounds outside from your own travel away from home. So nothing really seems to strike you as odd. There are no strange silences, there are no odd noises. It seems fairly peaceful still. Occasionally you'll get that weird sensation and wiggle of the ink moving across your skin, but nothing drastic. You can tell just from, that 17 that Kale is sleeping a little restless, and Bal is definitely not deeply in REM. I don't know if Bal is sitting up, but you can tell with a 17 that Bal is not actually asleep. Beyond that,
I believe I'm just going to I'm going to stay quiet and just kind of let everyone
Do their thing.
do their thing. I don't want to be like, oh, hey, are you awake? Let's talk about blah, blah, blah,
Okay. Yeah.
Let's gossip.
Yeah, so sometimes people do just have trouble sleeping and they just need to stare into the void. But yeah, so it's beyond that, it is a peaceful watch. Nothing seems to occur.
Very well.
Bal,
And I feel like
please make an observation check.
Yeah. I feel like I was gently awake. Bal, it's your turn.
Bal is taking middle watch. I thought Kale was taking middle watch.
Kale's taking middle watch because it's the darkest part of the night.
That's
And then
right.
Bal can
Sorry.
take
My
dawn.
bad.
No
My
worries.
bad. So I do that, but with Kale.
Cool. Okay. Wake up. I'm assuming I'm making a perception roll,
In a minute.
which I am. Okay, cool.
15.
15.
Ooh.
Varen, you can hear off to the side, like gently waking Kale up. And as Kale is like groggily sitting up, you see something else just at the corner of your vision, just a little off to the left.
I look to try to figure out what it is.
It's gone. It's like some sort of wisp of like mist or fog that vanishes as you turn to look at it directly.
Huh. Okay. I think Bal's gonna stand up and kind of just wander softly in the direction of whatever she saw.
Okay. So yeah, Varen, as you get Kale up, and Kale, as you're getting up for your middle of the night watch, Bal is just kind of quietly standing up and like going to look at something or wander off in a direction. You're not sure why. They don't say anything.
When you're camping and someone wanders off alone into the woods at night, you assume they need the bathroom.
Okay.
And
Not
I
gonna-
like stage whisper, Ball, are you looking to jump into the ocean again? Because that's not the way to go.
It is, in fact, not the way towards the ocean.
I just noticing the last time that Ball kind of wandered off, it was to jump into the middle of the ocean.
You don't get a response. Bella's focusing a little bit too much.
Okay.
Actually, does the song change at all?
Nope.
Awesome. Okay. Uh,
So Kale, as Belle wanders off and Varen, you do not get a response, though it is indeed not in the direction that Polyarna is, or Polyarna proper is, and thus not the direction of the ocean. Um, are you gonna settle into sleep?
My gut instinct is to like follow Ball. So
Are
I
you
think I'm
going
like,
to follow Belle?
yeah.
Okay. Um, so as you kind of sneakily follow Ball away from camp, Kale, go ahead and give me an observation check.
All right. I am trained in perception.
Mm-hmm.
And I rolled a 17 again, man.
17. Very good. It is very dark, but you are probably the only one in the group that does not have an issue with that. Looking in the direction that they're going, it's just kind of passive. Okay, yeah, Ball's just going off, and Varen is following because Varen. So maybe it's a girls going to the restroom thing together. You don't know.
I'm gonna let them sort that out.
Yep. You also don't really see any strange or hear any strange things out in the night. You do see like a wisp of fog or smoke in the direction that Bal is walking, but as you turn to look at it directly, it seems to disappear.
All right. I will continue to sit and give them some privacy over whatever they're doing over there, but keep an ear out for them if they get into trouble.
Okay. So, Bal, how far do you follow these traces of fog or smoke?
I think at first she's just walking to the spot where she first saw, or where she thinks she first saw it,
Mm-hmm.
and then if she catches another glimpse, it'll solidify that this isn't just her being tired, and then she'll more actively like pursue whatever this is.
Okay. Give me one more perception check to try and catch traces of it and or where it might be leading you to.
I'm gonna put 3 levels of effort into this. That was an 8.
An 8? Okay. Still, you did put 3 levels of effort in. So initially, it just seems like a strange wisp of fog or smoke. It's kind of grayish white against the darkness of the nighttime. And then a couple more passes as you try to follow it a little bit more cautiously and with a little bit more attention. It looks like a body, and then it disappears. And then it looks like someone is walking, and then it disappears. And you probably get a good 65 feet away from camp before you don't catch any further sight of it.
All right, I'm gonna do something stupid.
Okay.
I'm going to put my my hand on my weapon,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Which
I
weapon?
am going.
Which weapon you have too?
my sword,
Okay.
and then I'm going to just call out into the void, into the forest at whoever this is. I'm just gonna go, "Oi, show yourself."
Make a persuasion check. And also, Varen, have you just been following this entire time?
Yeah, it's kind of at a distance.
Okay.
At this
Notably,
point, I
you
feel
have
like
not seen whatever Ball is following.
yeah, I just know that Ball kind of took off and that one time on the ship, and so I feel like it's see, watching this happen. It's my duty to make sure that Ball doesn't wander off further because Corey would probably be mad about that.
You are getting the hang of it. You're realizing that Bao just fucking does whatever Bao fucking wants.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
I'm gonna once again put levels of effort into this. 3 of them.
Okay.
That's a 13.
13. And do you have any training or skills in, like, interaction with others?
I have pleasant social interactions, but I don't know that this is necessarily pleasant since I am guarded.
Okay.
I've got my hand on my sword and stuff.
At first, it seems like there's no real response. And you stand and you watch and you wait. And then, as you turn, it seems to appear directly in front of you. And it is a body. It's solidifying, not really, but forming more clearly into a figure, person that you recognize. A dark stain running down the shirt of their chest, on their chest. They just stare at you with dark, empty eyes.
Yeah. This is the first time that Bal has ever 100% fallen into terror. So sword is on the ground. She's just screaming and just turns around and just runs like straight away from whatever the fuck this is.
Okay. So, Varen, what you see is Belle has stopped somewhere and like starts looking around and can't find whatever it is that she was following, and then just like shouts out at someone to come out. There's no response. And she seems to be turning back, sees something that again you still cannot see, and then freaks the fuck out, starts screaming, drops her sword, and runs.
That's unusual. So immediately you just see the shadows just boom, all over her body, and I'm going to use my scan ability into the area that Ball was just in. I'm going to spend 2 intellect to do that.
Nice.
Beautiful. At the same time, Kale, you are on watch. Val has gotten a decent distance away and has not just immediately came back. Like, it took a little bit to follow the traces. So, kind of glancing in that direction, you see something almost silvery white begin to appear in front of Val prior to sword drop, scream, run.
Yeah, I think by that point, Kale is already on edge because it's as soon as Ball like puts a hand on the sword, Kale's like, "Oh, they've not just gone off to go to the bathroom. Something is happening over there, and they're starting to pay attention." And then when they see the shock, and especially when they hear Ball scream, it's just instantly they surge into their dragon form. There's a loud growl that probably wakes up Fang and Corey, and they're like, "Toms!" And then they'll rush off into the forest to Ball.
Okay. It's not a dense forest. It's just kind of a couple of trees here and there because this isn't a heavily wooded area. But again, this is a good 65-ish feet away from the camp. Varen, your scan ability. Would you like
Mhm.
to tell me one more time what exactly it tells you?
Scan area equal in size to a 10-foot or 3-meter cube, including all
Okay.
objects or creatures within that area within short range. So I'm assuming I was close enough
Yeah,
to
that's definitely
fall
within
to,
50 feet because you were following.
yeah. Scanning a creature or object always reveals its level, and then whatever information the GM feels are pertinent about the matter and energy of that area.
Okay. Um, as you scan, initially it's as if there's nothing, and then almost swirling into existence, you sense something not alive. There's a spirit. Like Baal is running from, as far as you can tell, a ghost. Um, its level almost fluctuates as it flickers in and out because it doesn't seem to be fully tethered. But it is starting to swoop after Baal in a chase. How would you say that you react, especially with Kale roaring into dragon form and starting to charge towards you guys?
Hmm. The first thing I want to do is also use one intellect to activate my resonance field,
Okay.
which is basically it's just kind of a if the thing decides to attack me, um,
You get to use intellect instead of speed
yeah,
or might.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, trying to see if I can figure out what exactly. It seems supernatural.
You can tell that it is a spirit, it is a ghost of
It is
some
a
kind.
ghost. Okay.
You have never sensed a spirit or ghost before, and you can't see it still. Uh, but scan would reveal to you that it is a non living spirit, aka a ghost.
So yeah, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and just activate that resonance field, and I'm gonna hold my ground for the moment.
Okay. So, Kale, you are rushing forward. Belle, you are screaming and running. Where are you running to?
Away.
Away.
Literally, there is their only thought in Bal's head right now is flight. There is no logic to it. There is no. This is just raw, like almost primal, just escape.
Okay. Uh, Fong, you have been woken up by the snarling appearance of Dragon Kale
Hmm.
as Kale rushes into the darkness away from camp towards something, and you hear screaming that you only realize is Belle as she runs past.
Runs past me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna run after Bao.
Okay.
What
Um,
are we running from?
yeah. Yeah, you know the drill. Like you see someone running, you're just like, oh, we
Yeah.
running, we running. Varen, with the start of what essentially would be this next round, and this is being kept fairly loose. Um, you, with the ending of scan and activating resonance field, you don't sense where the spirit is anymore, but you also don't feel yourself being attacked. Bal has like booked it far away, and because Bal is going, I'm running, I'm running, I'm running. Kale, Bal has passed you and is running away. You see flickers of this spirit that seem to be following, but it almost looks like it's fading as Bal runs and then tries to reappear and then fades again and then tries to reappear. But it does pass you during one of these like flickers of in and out. Are you going to start chasing Bal and the spirit?
Yeah, Kale was originally going to like barrel after Ball, but then they get distracted by this flicker of spirit something, and they'll kind of skid to a halt for a second and then curl back on themselves and run the other way because they were running towards Ball, who ran past them, so they're gonna go after.
Yeah. So this is also not the first time that you've seen a spirit, if you remember.
No. Yeah. Like, Ball, are you alright?
No response. Just scream.
I think after a while she maybe collapses and just curls up in a ball like fetal position at the base of like a tree.
Yeah. How long does she run?
You know,
because you're going to have people essentially chasing after you.
I rolled a 15, okay. So a while.
Okay, so you guys
I'm going to try and intercept, and I am fast because I have a range increase.
Okay.
So you will find yourself probably just before Kale will pass you, and then turn back to human form and try to like grab you in a hug and stop you in headlong flight.
Before that happens, if you are dedicating your entire action to running, Val, you can make a movement check to run double your speed, so essentially a long distance instead of a short distance, by beating a difficulty 4.
Okay. 17.
Dang.
So Bal is running at the same speed as you are, Kale.
At one point, this was a character that moved like a cat, so she is agile.
Yeah. She fast.
Yeah. So Bal is running at the same speed you are, Kale. You would also have to make a movement check to be able to surpass
Let's do it.
Okay. Fang, are you also going to pick up speed when you see Bal, like, running even faster?
Yeah.
Okay.
You check, can't be the slowest one in a group.
Okay.
I also rolled 17.
Okay, so yeah, and
these like the third time this game.
Yeah, movement checks to move are just difficulty 4 unless you have hindrances. When you are doing actions, essentially. So anything 12 or above, essentially, unless you have modifiers on.
Natural 20, baby!
Natural 20. So yeah, you are, like, keeping pace with Val. Like, you reacted perfect timing, keeping pace with Val, going, what are we running from?
Yeah.
And then you have a dragon starting to overtake you, and you're just like, oh shit, because you've fought with Dragon Kale a total of once.
Mm-hmm.
Varen, are you also running?
No, I decided to stand my ground. I'm just
so you're just like way back there because you don't know where this spirit is and you can't see it anymore.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm basically, but if I can, I just like to use like a hedge magic and see if I can create just like an orb of light or something.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Hedge magic will work for that.
Yeah.
You can hear the rest of us just crash.
Yeah, and so basically I'm just using it as a flashlight and be like, why are y'all running?
It's just a ghost.
Why are you running? It can't hurt you, it's just a ghost. But yeah, so Kale, you would be able to, with your range increase, surpass Bal's run. because you have much further that you can run in a round. So you probably have enough time to be able to transform and try to do the tackle hug. How cooperative are you with that, Bal? I mean, it is Kale, but also terrified. Chaos dice.
Not very at all.
Okay.
I think I think I think Bal's just gonna try to like either like just dodge
Bob and weave.
Kale
Bob
or
and
like
weave.
yeah, like just depends on what it also depends on what stance Kale has because if they're like this, then
Yeah.
Bal will totally dive between their legs. Just like
Okay. Opposed rolls?
All right. I am gonna spend an effort on this to hug real good.
Okay. So that is +3 to your
I rolled an 8.
speed check, essentially, to try and catch Bal.
That is a 13.
13. So 13 definitely beats an 8. So like as Bal is trying to dive like under your arms or between your legs or something, your tail like wraps around Bal's waist and your arms just kind of hug her partially from the side. Due to the positioning. And Fong, you would probably almost stumble into them and have to like skid around them due to the impact of the catching someone that was trying to like
Yeah.
tuck and roll, because it
Snap.
was very similar to a tackle at this point. Can I get a might check from Kale to not be like knocked to the ground as like Bal essentially tries to dive and you catch her?
Yep.
Because Kale is not a big person.
No, but they are very strong, and I rolled a 14.
Okay. Yeah, so like you do definitely take a couple of steps back, but you do catch Val. You also see the flicker of the ghost start to like solidify more and reappear now that Ball is still like right behind her.
And the entire time, so I grab you, and I manage to hold on without falling over. And the whole time, Kayla's like, there, it's all right. I'm here, it's all right.
No, stop. You have to let go of me. I can't. I have it. I can't. I cannot. And it's just incoherent mumbling.
It can't
about
hurt you.
And he's starting to reach forward towards Bal. Bal, would you like to describe exactly what this ghost looks like to Kale?
So it's an older gentleman in an attire that looks very familiar to you, because he is wearing the same hat and coat that Bal had when you met her. He is pale and almost husk like he is hollow. He's got just long curly hair, and even in this ghost form he still has very bright eyes, but he looks like a pirate, captain of some sort.
So there's a ghost pirate reaching towards Bal
with an obvious stab wound in their chest that seems to be eternally bleeding.
Right. And Kale will just narrow their eyes at this ghost and like kind of snarl a little bit because they can see it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just snarling at the air while still holding Bal and being, no, it's all right. I won't let him touch you.
You are going to have to move the both of you because it is reaching towards Bal. Fang, you are close enough to them to hear and see the actions of your two party members. You cannot currently see the ghost. Bal is haunted and thus can see it. Kale has an ability from an item.
Okay, so he hears Kale say, "I will not let him touch you," and Fong's like, I'm not, I'm not trying to touch anyone right now."
Now,
I
Corey
thought we
is
were getting
also
away.
starting to stumble towards you guys at this point.
No, not you. The ghost.
Ghost.
Corey,
And-
ghost?
And I will start pulling Ball away from the ghost, but still keeping a hold on her.
Okay, I would like a collective speed check from both of you since you are purposefully dodging, not just trying to take it. So speed is the only defense that you can make to the attempted touch.
I am hindered.
17.
17? Okay.
Ooh, 13, but I'm hindered, so it's harder.
Okay. But in combination, because Bal is also trying to avoid it, you do manage to dodge out of the way of the hand that is reaching towards Bal's head.
Perfect. I'll snarl at it again and be like, leave her alone.
Okay. Please make a difficulty 6 interaction roll.
Ooh, I am skilled at unpleasant social interactions.
Okay.
I am scary.
Yes, you are.
And I rolled an 18.
18.
Ooh.
All right. So, with that, it turns to look at you. And for a moment, you see that same rapier that Val also carries flicker at its side before it fades away. And as far as you can tell, the spirit is not currently present.
I don't know. Give Ball a little bit more of a squeeze and be like, it's gone. He's gone. He's not here anymore. I think I scared him off.
Yeah, she's just gone. Like she's just still just in panic mode and terrified.
Corey has his weapon out and is like looking around, trying to find where the threat is.
I think at this point, Varen starts to make her way back to where everyone is.
Yeah, and they're probably about 100 feet in the opposite direction from the camp.
Yeah, I'll bring my little light ball with me too. Kind of like the way.
Yeah, it just kind of floats.
Mm-hmm.
The other two would fairly easily recognize this particular method of lighting things if they were paying attention to that. But at present, you have a terrified and shaking Bal in your arms, and you don't see the ghost anymore, and a very confused Fong, as well as a alert and very confused Corey.
It's all right. It's all right. It's gone now. He's gone.
You're probably going to have to drag her back to camp.
Yeah, I just
Either that or just kind of lay there for a while.
Yeah, she's. Yep. Val tends to present as controlled in her emotions. The most you see her is when she kind of complains about things, but this is beyond anything anyone has seen.
Yeah,
it's
this is like pure panic attack.
Yeah, this is like true, genuine, just terror.
Aww. I am empathic, and I have an open mind, so I probably feel your terror.
Aww.
Yeah, aren't you hindered on defense for both speed and intellect?
I'm actually only hindered on speed if I'm in dragon form, so I didn't need to be hindered last time, but I forgot. But I am for intellect. My defense rolls are definitely hindered.
Yeah, your defense is not
Not good.
yeah. But yeah, so it'll probably take you a while to get Bal calmed down due to the panic attack that is definitely happening at the moment.
Kale, familiar with panic attacks because they used to get them all of the time, and I will coach you through them.
Are you going to let Corey or Fang know that the ghost is gone?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
There was a ghost. I think I scared it off, but Bal's having a bit of a panic attack. If I don't know if you could put on some water for tea. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll go get some water. Corey,
Maybe a blanket.
yes. Okay. I'll be quick. Corey, you want to keep an eye, just in case, any dangers arise.
Yeah. He's
Okay.
still got his sword out because he's very confused. Has never encountered a
Perfect.
ghost before.
Yep.
And just kind of is very warily standing guard. Varen, you would probably get to them about the time that Fang is like bringing back the blanket, since you're not doing the full dash type of movement.
Yeah. So I take it y'all saw the ghost too.
Oh yes.
I didn't, but I believe you.
Corey just kind of shakes his head and looks confused, concerned, and maybe a little scared.
I didn't get a good look at it, but it was definitely a ghost.
Kale doesn't say anything, but they are still whispering to Ball and being like, all right, try to concentrate on something you can feel. Touch the grass. Look at the stars. I'm here. We're all here around you. And just keeping up this like litany of calming words for Ball.
And Fang will present the blanket.
I'll get your help to like help burrito Ball.
Yeah.
Okay, so Kale is specifically using the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method.
Yep.
Okay. Which is a known method for helping people with panic attacks and or anxiety issues. If you had used a different method, then that might have triggered things worse. That's why I asked.
No, Alina also has panic attacks, and I often use the litany against fear, which is because I'm a giant nerd, but it also works. So,
but yeah, so
however, there is no Dune in this universe.
So, eventually, Bal would be able to come out of it. I will leave it up to you on how long that takes, but the alarm would at least have mostly passed, other than Corey kind of standing guard.
Yeah, it doesn't take much longer once Kale starts to, I guess, burrito her.
Pirate burrito.
Yeah, I think Kale's proximity helps ground Bell a lot more than everything else, but it works.
Yeah. Compression therapy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so it is very much the middle of the night. You are not quite near camp. Varen has a glowing orb of light that just kind of follows her around to help with seeing things.
Yeah, once Ball's recovered enough to kind of get back to her feet, we can take everybody back to camp, so we're not just sitting in the middle of the woods. I imagine we picked up a tent, so there's like a little tent that we can sit inside. Sit Ball down, get her a cup of tea, get her something to eat. Kale has us like just stuck to her side the entire time because it's nice to have a physical presence.
I feel like my
Nearby.
light bulb, kind of, as we get closer to camp, I kind of dim it so it's not quite as bright either. Kind of makes it a little bit more of a warm light.
Yeah.
For Ball.
Nice.
I think she's still just quiet, just sitting, just kind of lost in whatever's going on in her brain. At least until somebody like directly tries to interact, she's just quiet.
Right.
So you guys just gonna kind of let her be quiet over the course of the night, or any questions going to be asked?
No, I think unless there's anybody else who wants to do anything, Kale will be like, you all should try and get some sleep. I'll sit up with her.
No, I'll keep an eye out. I got some sleep.
All right.
Okay. So you go ahead and take an observation/perception check while
Yeah.
Kale sits with Belle.
Oh, what is a 6?
It's nighttime. It's dark. With the fire still going, even if it's kind of banked and a little low, it's kind of hard to get that differentiation of looking into the darkness from a not necessarily well lit but partially lit area.
Yeah, I'd say like Fong probably like gives up on looking out into the dark and is just like, okay, this is the entryway to the tent.
Okay.
I'm gonna make sure nothing gets through this.
Okay.
Good.
And do you just keep Ball company, or do you guys chat at all?
Kale desperately wants to talk, but knows that like the middle of the night is not the time to talk about the captain that Ball stabbed and whose ghost is following her around. Wait for the daylight to talk about that.
I feel like as Varen probably is like falling asleep, I'm going to attempt to make another like little wicker totem.
Okay.
Aw.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and give me a crafting check.
And that is eased.
I'm going to call
Correct.
it even because it is in the middle of the night and you are
Okay.
tired, so you can't see very well. You're tired.
Okay.
Yeah.
I rolled a 16.
Okay.
Oh,
Still,
nice.
16.
Muscle
Very
memory.
good. Yeah. This is actually much better than the one that you handed it to the first mate.
We were on the boat. It was rocking a little bit. It was unsteady.
Yeah, that's totally what it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the night will pass fairly uneventfully. I'm not sure if Bal ever gets back to sleep, but
Yeah, Kale does their best to try and talk you back to sleep, but I don't think it's happening.
in that case, please give me a might defense against exhaustion. Okay. You have hindered might checks for the day.
Ooh.
Your body is fatigued. All right. But yes, morning rises. It is a partially clouded but sunny day.
I just made a roll to see if Kale could stay awake with Ball, and I rolled a 1, so I pass out on your shoulder like 10 minutes on.
Oh.
Kale's just
That
like
sounds right.
snoring, leaning on your shoulder.
That sounds right. Corey is like sitting across the entry to the tent, somewhat behind where Fang was keeping watch, and like is just sleeping with the sword in his lap. But you guys again would wake to a mostly sunny morning.
Quick thing.
Yeah, what's up?
When Bal registers that Kale fell asleep,
Mm-hmm.
she will activate her silence bubble,
Okay.
Aw.
to make sure that nothing wakes Kale up.
Okay.
Oh.
It's very sweet. Yeah. So it is a new day. Breaking camp is a little slow with the tiredness that comes with what happened the previous night. But you would be able to gather everything up, fully bank, and douse the campfire ring, essentially. And it is probably going to be a fairly nice day weather-wise. Whatever summer storm had been plaguing the area seems to have passed. You can see that same look of fatigue that Belle had had after being poisoned in the fight seemed to still just kind of linger, but it's not quite as bad. She doesn't look as sick from it.
Right. There's that awkward moment where you realize that you wake up and you're like, oh, I'm all cozy and warm. Oh, I've fallen asleep on somebody else. And Kale's sort of, oh, and your neck's cricked and you're like, I'm terribly sorry, Belle. Did you manage to get any sleep?
No.
Kale will pull you into a little bit of a hug and then be like, at least we'll try and get some food into you. And then they'll get up and stretch because they're stiff from sleeping, sitting up, and go and see about their morning, getting food, getting the camp struck down, all the normal morning things you have to do. But they will make sure that you've eaten something.
Belle just goes along with it. There's no initiative to her movements right now,
No.
but she also isn't refusing help, especially Kale's.
Right. Yeah. Right, and then we can break camp.
Okay. So as you continue your path, plodding along, eventually veering off of where the road is to try and go in the approximate direction that you seem to think that you need to go. The day is pleasant. Birds are chirping. You can hear bugs in the distance. Even the tall grasses and various plants that you pass by seem to have little wasps and bees and other pollinators that just flit among them. It's peaceful. At this point, you're definitely out of what would be considered the directly farmed and maintained area that is immediately around Pollyanna proper. It's a quiet day. Eventually, the birdsong seems to fade. It's maybe about midday, getting very warm. It's a very quiet day. There's
That's
not
good.
even the sound of bugs. No birds, no bugs, no frogs or anything croaking in the distance. Just the sound of wind passing through the grasses and bushes and trees.
Should we vibe check the day?
You can totally attempt to vibe check if you would like.
Of like, something seems weird.
I feel like at this point, Varen would have said, hey, y'all hear that?
God, this is another 17. I can't stop rolling them.
Do remember you also have free assets from me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No.
I feel like I do like that. Y'all hear that? Hear what exactly? The kind
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
17. Yeah, something's up. Something is. This is not how nature and the wilderness
Works.
is.
Varen, it's not this quiet normally, is it?
Absolutely not.
I
Especially not this late in summer.
Right. No, there should be all sorts of life around here, and it feels hushed. Like it's like making my skin prickle.
Mine too. Because I'm used to growing up in Polyarna, I'm kind of used to like that hum of like
Everything.
bugs.
Yeah.
Just there's just always kind of a dull hum, and there's like it feels like there's nothing.
Nat 20 to Alina from chat.
Woo!
Oh, thank you. I'm gonna write that down.
Please do. Especially since you're rolling so well. It's going to come
I
back to
know.
bite you
Holy
at some
crap.
point.
Oh, I'm guaranteed. So Kale's like, everyone just stay close today, all right? Don't wander off.
No worries.
So it is very quiet. There is no sound of bugs or birds or amphibians or various other animals around. There is just the sound of the wind through the plants, rustling leaves and stalks and reeds and grasses together. And as you a little bit more cautiously continue forward, looking down, while you can see the insects that had previously kind of been pollinating, it's mostly that you see them being disturbed from hiding underneath various plants and buds as you walk past. That same strange vibe that you got with your vibe check of the day. It's almost happenstance that you are looking in the correct direction as a sudden flock of birds like burst out of the trees and fly away, chirping and then silent as they fly. No other sign of whatever has disturbed them, though.
I imagine Kale's head snaps over that direction because now they're like, something's off and they're keeping an eye out for danger.
Can I roll to see if this is familiar to the first time I met the grandmother?
Sure. Difficulty 2.
Oh, okay. Difficulty 2 is
6 or better, so.
I rolled a 4.
4.
Oh no.
Yeah. You're not sure. It was eerie when you met her, and you're not sure if the strange stillness had been an effect of meeting someone else that had something other about them, or if it was something that was actually going on.
Mm-hmm.
So it is quiet. You, however, don't anticipate the grandmother doing something that would cause a massive flock of birds to fly away as if in a panic.
Have we seen anyone else on the road today?
No.
Okay,
You
no.
are also
Kale,
off-road, though.
yeah, that's true now. Kale is going to change into a dragon at this point. There is something out there. And they want to look as scary as possible.
Okay. Anyone else doing anything There's a mosquito in my room.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I will, when Kale does that, I will give them a distortion buff.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Nice.
So you have
Distortion
a
only lasts for a minute, though, right?
only lasts for 1 minute, but you'll have speed defense for that
nice.
for the next minute.
Sick.
So
Did you
I'm
want to hold that until something happens, or are you immediately doing it?
I will probably wait till something happens, but that when that does, that's when that it's going to initiate that.
Okay.
nice.
But I'm kind of keep at the ready as they say.
Okay. Fang? Ball?
Kyle is just following Kale, like just behind Kale, not really doing anything.
Okay.
Fong might wander a little closer to where the flock of birds had emerged. Not
Mhm.
super close, but just close enough where he can speak conversationally, and if they happen to be able to understand him, whatever might be there can hear him. And Fong is gonna say, "Hey, we're just I'm so glad we're just peaceful people walking around trying to find someone in peace. And I sure hope no one tries to disturb that peace."
Okay. Just loudly, you're just like, "Ah, peaceful. Ha 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 ha."
Yes.
Okay.
Peace.
Good.
This is how we normally speak.
Okay. Go ahead and make an interaction roll, I guess, to try and either attract their attention or convince them to leave you alone, or I don't know what exactly you're trying, but make an attempt.
I've got a 3.
A 3. Whatever it was not successful. Go ahead and everyone give me a perception check as you slowly start to approach where this flock of birds had left what seems to be a copse of trees.
Oh my god. What the hell? That's a nat 20, and I'm trained in
Nice.
this. I don't know what I'm
Okay,
doing.
good, because I'm oblivious. I
Karmically.
rolled a 4.
Okay.
Oh no.
I got a 7.
7. Okay.
Oh, I just realized. As long as you guys are with me, you just have a permanent
You're trained
your
in perception.
permanent
Oh, heck.
training perception.
Well, I still didn't
Dang.
notice anything.
Yeah, the rolls still weren't amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I thought it was like the other one where you get asset for it, but no, it's just you get
Wow.
your training perception.
That's
Dang. So I'm already trained, so I'd be skilled in it? Just whenever ball's around?
Specialized.
Specialized. Crazy.
think.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Either way, you rolled a nat 20, so.
I know, which is stupid. I'm suspicious of my rolls now. Next game, I'm only going to roll once.
8.
8. All right, so 3 fairly low rolls, and then Kale in dragon form, like peering suspiciously into the shadows underneath the trees. It's early afternoon, just a little bit past lunchtime. You guys are looking. It's quiet and suspicious. And Kale, with that nat 20, you are the only one that sees something move. A flicker of very fast movement. As fast as you, in fact. From behind one tree to another. It's hard to make out the shape. In fact, it seems to blend in with its surroundings. But with that nat 20, you also see well past it in the darkest area of that collection of trees what seems to be a massive web with a variety of creatures caught within it. You see a deer and various other, like, small woodland type animals. They are still alive and kicking, but trapped in this very large web. But the light just happens to catch on the webbing enough to where you see what is holding these twitching creatures struggling in place.
Bong! Come away from there. I think there's a giant spider lurking just in those bushes.
Fong runs away from the direction he was coming from, going towards. Just rah!
Yeah, there's another flicker of movement.
Yeah, and Kale is going to like with their head down, snarling, just put themselves defensively between the group and the woods.
There's a kind of strange chittering sound that all of you begin to hear.
Nope.
And Kale, you see like the shine of multiple eyes as a head starts to push through one of the larger bushes.
Oh, it's on. It is on.
Everyone roll initiative.
Oh, snap.
Mm-hmm.
Dun, dun, dun. So we'll
10.
probably only get a couple of rounds of combat in unless we decide to play
13.
late today. So we've got 10 and 13.
8.
Okay.
19.
Ooh.
Okay. So Kale was 10, 19 for Fong. 8 for Ball. And what did you say yours was, Varen?
8.
Oh, what was
13.
Ball's? Oh, 13. Okay. Okay. So as, like, you get this warning from Kale, and there's the flicker of movement, at this point, you do see the shift of leaves, Fong, as you turn to run away. And all of you hear this strange chittering sound as a head of something peeks through. It is hard to get a sense of its exact shape, as it does have some sort of strange camouflaging effect. But strange, almost clawed legs peek around one of the tree trunks that initially look strangely leafy and then begin to blend into the texture of the trunk. There's a hissing noise. You are not sure if it will pursue you past the woods, but you have definitely caught its attention, and it is watching you guys. How do you respond?
Do we gotta take care of business here?
I'm just gonna take an action recovery roll real quick.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah. So you're taking an action recovery roll. It has not yet exited the woods to pursue you. You're not sure if that's because you are holding still. You are not sure if that's because it doesn't want to exit its cover. It is hard to tell. But you guys do have at least a round or so to attempt to react before figuring out what that reaction is going to be from it.
Can I ask, like, as far as our path goes, is this directly in our way?
It was a little off to the right. But also you don't have a really direct or defined path because you were just kind of taking a shortcut through nature instead of traveling along the road.
Yeah. I mean, I did say peace, so Fong is gonna hold and like just kind of see what everyone else is on board for.
Varen? Are you releasing the distortion, or are you guys continuing your staring contest with the unknown?
How far away is it?
It is probably about 40-ish feet
So it's
to the
within
edge. Yeah, to
short
the edge of
range.
the woods. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. In that case, I will probably just use my scan ability again.
Okay.
Nice.
So if we're all kind of staying still right now, I kind of want to get a sense of like potentially what this is.
Okay. So as you like reach forward with your senses, it's a creature of some sort. It it's fairly strong. You're not sure what it would be called because there isn't really a name for it in modern like reading because this is not something that has existed for many years. But it has something to do with a trap. You can tell that it's some sort of trapping creature. And it seems to be a tier 6 difficulty.
I kind of lean over and whispers, it's very powerful, whatever it is.
Great.
Immensely powerful. Watch our step, because it might try to trap us.
Heavy.
Yes.
Is it making any noises?
It did make some noise. It made that strange chittering noise. It is not a
Cool.
language.
Never mind.
It is a creature, it is a beast of some kind. Therefore, it does not actually speak a language.
Okay, cool. All right, give me.
Give you a second. Okay. We are now into the second round after this thing has approached the edge. You see it beginning to shift forward slightly, and it's that same strange effect of the camouflage not quite matching its movement and then adjusting as it moves forward. It's not quite spider shaped, and it is very difficult to discern a shape because of the camouflage effect. But it does seem to have multiple legs and multiple eyes. The eyes are the only things that are not camouflaged.
Right.
It is slowly beginning to approach from the wooded area. It's not the same fast twitching movement that you had seen before, almost like it's stalking you guys.
First round, Kale woke Pico.
Okay.
But then I'll wait for my initiative order in the second round.
Okay. So Fang, you would technically be first in this round if you wanted to act further. Approach, run away, attempt to bargain with this unknown creature.
I think that Fong what he would try to do here is like position wise, I think that Fong doesn't necessarily want to start something with something as Varen said, immensely powerful. But Fong does want to, like, at the very least tactically move. Perhaps like if this is off to our right,
Mm-hmm.
he, Fong is gonna like maybe continue forward along the path that we were going, and
Okay.
at the very least kind of like split our position up. Fong is just thinking like, okay, if it's a spider and it like sprays web or something, then maybe if Fong is out there, he can get sprayed alone
Yeah.
instead of
Yeah,
everyone getting
Not
not
sprayed.
having
Draw fire.
everyone, yeah, like not having
Yes.
everyone clumped together. But
Exactly.
to
Smart.
confirm, you are moving.
Yes, I am moving.
Okay, good to know. Thank you.
And separating.
It is
I
now Belle's turn.
is it my turn?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna step forward.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to activate the meter of command,
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
and in the tongue of the sea serpents, which is the most, I guess, natural language that I currently know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to attempt to make it afraid of me.
Okay.
Intimidation.
Go ahead and roll. It is a DC 6 brought down to a DC 5 because of your demeanor.
I put 3 levels of effort into this.
Okay, so that brings it down to a DC 2.
Yes. I also
Nice.
am trained in deception.
Deception isn't quite the same as intimidation.
Fair.
You're not trying to deceive the creature, and also you're not sure if the creature is intelligent enough to be deceived through words.
Okay, that's fine. What's my difficulty right now?
Currently it is a 2, so 6 or better.
Natural 20.
Natural 20. So, as far as you can tell, you are scary as fuck to this creature. It is not yet running away, but you do, as far as you can tell, scare this creature. Like, the Bal steps forward, and despite the exhaustion, just that cloud of fear and anxiety that has been hovering around her for the majority of the day seems to spread into this intimidating force of, is it change? Is it the danger of the ocean? You are not sure, but there is just something about the darkness and danger of that which is other that surrounds her, because it's a natural fucking 20 and
This is
says
also the first.
things
Yeah.
in a language that none of you understand that sounds like a bunch of whistles and clicks.
Yeah, this is the first time Fang and Varen have heard me speak in this language.
Yeah,
Like, Fong looks like he's ready to run because he hears that and he has no idea.
yeah, like
Oh no, Ball's been possessed.
Belle steps forward, is suddenly really fucking scary, and like whistles and clicks and snarls just erupt from her throat as this general aura of danger spreads out from her. But that does bring us to Kale.
Cool. Kale's plan, and I don't think it's changed even with Ball's intimidation, is going to, as the creature is stalking forward, they are stalking forward as well to try and draw, to both be intimidating to it and intercept if it goes after Fong.
Okay. So you would see that its head did seem to flick in Fong's direction. However, this creature does act on initiative equivalent tier 7 instead of tier 6 due to its speed.
Right.
That is why it acted and then it came to you guys' rounds. So
Right.
it is not yet its action. But its attention was drawn by Fong, and then it is reacting in some way to Bal. Its gaze went that direction, and that strange, not quite catching up to its movement shift of camouflage seems to indicate that it does squirm almost like it's jerking away from Bal.
Good.
So use that in your action as you choose.
Yeah, I will back that up with a big old dragon roar. I'm just being
Okay.
intimidating.
Okay, so you are also being scary as fuck from right behind go ahead, Fong. Right behind Bal.
I am nowhere
Perfect.
near
You
as
have a-
scary. In front. I'm in
have a
front.
daily
'Cause I want
free
to-
Oh, you're in front of Bal. Okay.
yeah, I want to be in between my companions and this creature. I'm nowhere near as scary though. I only rolled an 8.
An 8. Okay. Yeah. It
So I give
does
it a
not
roar, but I'm not.
seem to be reacting to you
No.
necessarily. Varen,
Yes.
you have seen all of this happen. Bal is suddenly very fucking scary. Kale is not quite as scary despite being a dragon. And you can vaguely make out the approximate shape and size of this fairly large creature that is camouflaged and kind of squirming away from where Bal is.
Mm-hmm. I was wanting to use distortion, but since we're still kind of waiting, instead I want. Is that correct? We're all
Yep.
kind of like.
You are in initiative, and it does look like something is going to happen within the next round or so. Each round is approximately 6 to 10 seconds, so it would last for several rounds if you started it now, or you can start it at a later date or at a later time.
That's why I'm like, I want to wait on the distortion and instead place down my ribbons of dark matter in the space between the creature and where Ball and Kale are.
Okay. So between them and Kale instead of it and Kale instead of between it and Fong. Okay. Because Fong has separated from you guys.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, Fong moved forward
Yeah,
somewhere between 20 and 50 feet.
No, Fong's gonna need it more. I'm gonna move it between Fong and the creature.
Okay. So describe again.
No offense to Fong, but
yeah, no, like so support your warriors. Support your frontliners.
yeah. So basically, for the next minute, dark matter condenses within the area that is no bigger than immediate distance diameter, blah, 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 manifesting as swirling ribbons. So all attacks attempted by creatures in the area are hindered, and leaving the area requires a creature's entire action to move.
Okay, are you placing that in or where the creature currently is, or just in between it and Fong?
In between it and Fong, because I don't want to trigger a premature attack.
Okay.
I want to set out basically like a trap in case it goes after Fong, is what I'm trying to do.
So seemingly directly between it and Fong, you've got a 10-foot diameter circle of like shadowy tendrils that are able to erupt. Okay.
Yeah, I am. I don't want to attack I don't want to be like the attacking force of the creature yet. But I do want it to be there in case.
Okay.
In case it decides to chase Fong.
Yeah. So as you reach out your hand and place this area of darkness, it comes back around to the start and top of initiative. As the creature, like, almost, it's somewhere between that clicking chitter that you had heard before and a hiss as its body squirms in a strange arc further away from Bal, who was just really, really fucking scary. And then, having seen the movement that attracted it, its head darts back towards Fong, and it rockets forward at the speed that you normally see Kale move. So it has a movement of 100 if it does not act, and has a movement of 50 even if it does act. Um, so it will have to go through your trapped area. So, what are the effects it has to get past or get out of a strength check? You said like a might check?
It has to do all tasks attempted by creatures in the area are hindered.
Mm.
And if it wants to leave the area, it requires an entire action to move out of it.
Okay. So, as it rockets towards Fong, it is approaching you as this strange amalgamation of tree bark and grass and leaves and branches and shadowy darkness because it had blended in even with the shadows in a strange oblong segmented shape. Legs that didn't quite match up but were still camouflaged in some way, moving ridiculously fast forward with some sort of strange triangularly pointed head and multiple eyes, and then maybe 10 to 15 feet in front of you, tendrils of shadow rip up out of the grass and wrap around the creature, and it squirms and makes that strange hissing scream again, and has to spend its action, instead of attacking you, getting out of the shadows. But it did dart directly towards you. And unless we choose to extend our session for the day, we will pick up there next time.
Oh snap!
I like that.
Very good.
Oh my gosh,
Oh, Baron VIP.
that was sick.
Good,
That
good
was
job.
I just want to say, it
Good
sounded
job
like
with shadow
Fong was
tentacles.
about to get the fangs.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, it was about to attack you.
Oh
Yeah,
my
that's why I
gosh.
was just I when I saw that ability, I was like, oh fuck. Yeah, I'm gonna try to trap the trapper.
Yeah.
That was so cool. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
and yes, it does definitely hunt via movement.
Mm.
Cool.
But yes, congratulations, you guys encountered a ghost, and now one of the creatures that have evolved, awoken, you're not sure, with the reintroduction of magic and sorcery to the land. Um,
Wow.
But yeah. So this has been Empyrean Wilds episode 8. We will be coming back next time, starting with frickin' combat. And this will be much harder. So, Matt, since you're only experienced with combat in the system so far, the monsters, the plant creatures that you guys fought before, were difficulty 4. This creature is
Goodness.
2 tiers above that, but it is also alone instead of in a group, which will
Okay.
be helpful. But yes, so let's go ahead and go around, reintroducing ourselves, who we are, where you can find us, what we're doing. And this time we'll start with Joel.
Hello, I am Joel. I was Bao, and you can find me on Altered Echo Archives every other Sunday playing Bao Mistforge. And almost every other Friday, except unless work gets in the way. Also on Altered Echo Archives playing Sing of Fluffin 10/1, which is was very exciting. This is a great time. And right now, that's all I have. I'm in the middle of a full-time job, and also now just getting ready to move. So I don't physically have time for anything other than these 2 games that I've got going on. So, but one day I'll have more.
Totally understandable, though. All right, cool. Matt.
Hey y'all, I'm Matt. I've played Fang today. You can find me everywhere as improv and RPG, and this is so much fun. Oh my goodness, y'all are amazing! Such a blast. Thank y'all for having me.
I love Fong. Fong's such a fun character. Do you have any other games that you wanted to promote coming up?
There's one that's recording. I don't know when it drops, so when I know, I'll let y'all know.
Okay,
But
cool.
if you keep up with me on the social meds, Improv and RPG, that's where I'll be posting all that stuff.
Okay, cool. And I think that sometimes you also post links to stuff in the Discord, so I'm gonna link the
Yes,
Discord.
yes.
So yeah, definitely follow some links there as well. Amanda.
Hello, everyone. My name is Amanda, aka Panda Cabra, and I was Varen. So yeah, find me every other Sunday here on Altered Echo Archives, playing this character, as well as every other Friday for Fairy Tale Fridays, where I play Rosa and Thorn, which is a fun time as well. All of my information should be in the description, my link tree, my blue sky. Hit me up on Discord if you'd like. I hang out in the Discord all the time. I am 24/7 always on Discord. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And
currently unemployed, looking for a job. If hire me. I use, and all of us use she/her pronouns, like all my characters and me as well.
links are also in chat, both in Twitch and Moonbeam. Wherever you happen to be watching, it is in the description if you are watching on the uploaded YouTubes. Alina.
Hey, everybody. I have been playing Kale. I am Alina. We are both they, them. You can find me this Thursday on my channel, Where Geek Comics, where we'll be playing Trash Heroes. And then on Friday, I will be back here, Altered Echo Archives, playing on Fairy Tale Friday as Vrak. And yeah, there are a lot of chaos.
Yeah, there's stuff going on
There's a
in
few
Fairy
things.
Tale Fridays. Yeah.
None of us are doing great.
Yeah.
We're all doing better than one, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whew. Yeah, that was a session that we ended on last time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so check out the players' links, support them if you can. Don't forget to, if you can, also support TWOCC, the Trans Women of Color Collective. It is Pride Month. Support your people of color. Support your trans rights. Do what you can, where you can. It is a crazy world out there. I am Evie, the Disaster GM. Pronouns are she, they, or any. I am the director of Altered Echo Archives and the primary GM for our two campaigns at the moment. Normally, you can find me here every other Sunday and every other Friday running these games, or on our Discord chatting with people, doing the things. You can also find me on certain Saturdays on Fusca's channel, playing it as a guest player in a short campaign known as Echoes of Ruin. We are going through our secondary already dead characters at the moment, and some weird shit in the afterlife just happened. Fusca, you better not have, like, perma-killed our cleric. Please, please, please. But anyway, yeah, that's where you can find me. Sometimes I'm on the Blue Skies, not super frequently, but you know, whatever. Whatever. Chat with me in Discord. It's cool. We will see you this coming Friday for Fairy Tale Friday, where I continue to emotionally torment my characters.
It's great.
Run the game. It's not emotional torment at all. No, none whatsoever. Juan is fine. Juan is fine and will totally be reunited with his family. But we will see you next time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to click the various buttons like, subscribe, etc. And we'll see you then. Bye.
Bye.